Welcome to Midnight Menu Plus One. I'm Ray Canada.
And I'm Margot Moss. Midnight Menu Plus One is a food lifestyle show on the podcast network, itsneworleans.com.
Each week on Midnight Menu Plus One, Margot and I invite a member of New Orleans restaurant and food community to join us. And we invite them to bring along their own guest, a plus one. We never know who the plus one's going to be. Sometimes it's a friend, a neighbor, a family member, or a fellow restaurant colleague. Well, special guest tonight, Margot, on Midnight Menu Plus One is Rob Bechtold of NOLA Smokehouse. One of my favorites. Can't wait.
And if you're hungry for more Midnight Menu Plus One than we can dish up here, we have all kinds of extra stuff on our website, itsneworleans.com. You can check out our blog, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, or just Google Midnight Menu Plus One, and we come right up.
Midnight Menu is brought to us tonight by Petite Pet Care. If your pet needs to be fed, walked, or looked after while you're at work or on vacation and you don't want a bored Fido or Fifi, Petite Pet Care has you covered. For loving care when you're not there, Petite Pet Care. Find them at petitepetcare.com, petitpetcare.com. That's petitepetcare.com. Okay, Margot, I'm really looking forward to talking with our special guest tonight, Rob Bechtold. But before we do that, let's catch up on this week's culinary adventures. Did you eat anything worth reporting? Any?
Well, I have. I've been eating at some of the same places that I love, like the Korea House on Claiborne.
Yeah,
I've been
right. We had them as our guests. Great people. Yeah.
So, what have you been eating? I haven't had anything totally new.
Well, my only new thing that jumps to mind first was I think it's called Del Fuego. What do we call that place? Do you know? It's just Fuego.
Well, it says Fuego on that beautiful sign with a flame on it, but I don't know.
Spanish for flame, isn't it? Fuego? I don't know. I don't know Spanish.
I'm not sure. Yeah. But it was. I thought it was Mexican food. You ate there, right?
Yeah, but I mean, they speak Spanish in Mexico, right?
Yeah. Yes,
I'm pretty sure of that one.
But I'm clarifying it's Mexican food.
Mexican
right?
food is what I understood it to be. It
what
sure
did you
tasted
eat?
like it. I had I got the burrito with all kinds of great stuff in it. My wife got the tacos. You get like a set of 3 soft tacos, but the meat, I mean, it was all great. It was solid, good, delicious. Mine was like the carnitas, and I think she got the what did she get? Now I can't remember, but it was just awesome. But the margaritas to me were the most standout. I really like the margaritas a lot. So it would be worth going there, even if you already ate dinner and you want to just go there for the margaritas. It might be worth it. But the dinner was fantastic. I thought they were really kind of bold, flavored, but like strong but not harsh. I really liked them a lot. Everybody agreed, and they were good size. Sometimes you get some margaritas that can be a little skimpy. You know.
Well, I have to go back and try the margaritas because I went after our show a few weeks ago.
We talked about it on the show when you ran out and went, right?
Yeah, I went. I was so interested, and I went late night. So they stay open pretty late for a restaurant.
Yeah, how late do they stay?
Well, I didn't get there till 9:30.
Oh, wow.
So on a Monday night. So
right.
I think 11, but I'm not 100% sure.
That's great.
We should check with that. But
yeah.
And it was great. But I didn't drink, so I'll have to go back and try the margarita. Was it exotic margaritas or just?
Lots of margaritas. They had like these watermelon-infused things and all these other different kinds of fancy frou-frou ones. I just got the house margarita on the rocks with salt, like regular. But
traditional.
It was, real traditional. But, yeah, people we were with, we went with a bunch of people, and they all got some fancy ones, and they were great, too. My wife got 2 or 3 or 4, and they were great.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to get to our guest, Rob.
Yes.
So let's.
Yeah, Rob is. He was the sous chef at K. Paul's, right? One of the key jobs you could have in the city with Paul Prudhomme, and then he left it to start a barbecue place. Probably an insane career move, but then it turned out he won. It won Barbecue of the Year, its first year open, I think, for New Orleans Magazine. And I think it's fantastic. We just absolutely love it. I'm crazy for it.
Great. Well, let's bring him on.
All right, welcome, Rob Bechtold.
Hey,
good to have you here.
Well, thanks for having us.
Thanks for joining us tonight.
Appreciate it.
Now, Rob, our crack team of researchers have done a little research.
Uh-oh.
Really, and honestly, no, not really.
Right.
But I'm not a big Twitter person, so I don't understand everything. But I did see that NOLA Smokehouse has a Twitter account.
Yes.
And I would love to know about a few things that you have put on there. If you could share with, I'm curious what Buddhist heart means, and Death Squad.
Sure.
And and Bonsai. Bonsai.
Yes. Those are my hashtags on my Twitter account. Start off with the Buddhist heart is I strive to have a Buddhist heart, and it's kind of weird being in barbecue and a lot of meat and a lot of smoke and stuff like that. But I started that before I found my Buddhist path, and so that's where the Buddhist heart comes from. Death Squad is.
Wait, you're not going to give up meat then?
No,
right?
I tried for a little bit.
Don't get too religious.
And
on
I didn't like it too much. I went and saw the Dalai Lama when he was in town.
All right.
And someone asked him, "Is it okay to eat meat?" And he said, "Pork is a beautiful animal." So
that's kind of an ambiguous answer, though.
Yeah.
Is it too beautiful to kill, or is it beautiful to eat?
He eats meat, so.
That's good. All right.
So he was saying
set.
it was a delicious,
good. Long live.
Delicious thing. So.
Wait, did you really try and give up meat? Or are you joking?
I did. I tried for twice in my life. Once when I was an adult, and once when I was 17. I did my term paper on factory farming, and that really gave me some insight on the way animals are treated in this industry. And I wasn't really full-fledged chef at that point. I was just kind of cooking, and it kind of made me have a reverence for each one of those chickens that I messed up or didn't mess up. I wanted to treat those animals with respect. So that's what I got out of it.
And you're honoring the food you're cooking today, right? I mean, it's a is there a ritual to it that
I go with all fresh products. I don't mess with anything like that. I was going free range for a little while. The price range just got a little out of my price range. Going into the summer, we had some pork issues that happened with some piglets over the spring that really rose pork prices, and so we had to make some adjustments. But we go with fresh products. We treat it right, and we use every piece of it from tip to the bottom of the brisket. Nothing goes to waste.
Nice. Okay, so Bonsai.
Bonsai is a hobby of mine, and also the name of one of my cats. He was the run of a litter, and he just happened to be called Bonsai, and he never really got any bigger. So,
only thing I know about Bonsai is Mr. Miyagi from Karate Kid.
Well, that was my first.
Yeah, okay.
That's everybody's first taste of Bonsai, right?
So that's my last taste of Bonsai too. Like, what else should I know about Bonsai?
Do you actually perform the creating of
I train them, and then that's just through pruning them and wiring them and stuff like that. I fell into it in DC after Katrina. We bounced around a little bit, and we were in DC for a little while, and I was at a real stressful job. I was expediting. I was executive sous chef at Ocean Air, and they would do $56,000 nights, and it was just crazy. To relax from that and to bring myself down, I started messing with these little trees and little shrubs. And
so in the middle of dinner time, you'd break away and work on the bonsai for a little bit.
Go into the office and say, "Hey, I need to deal with my bonsai."
You're joking, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a little
Hobby
gullible.
After work.
Hobby after work.
So how many trees do you have currently?
Currently, I have 8.
8. Okay.
I believe. Yeah.
So you continue to do it. Is it? And it's a meditative process, or is it? It's relaxing.
I find everything's a meditative process. every walk, every step I take in life. But bonsai is definitely one of those. I kind of feel like they depend on me. I brought them to the restaurant not to be fashionable, but because I stay there when I'm smoking. I sleep in my office. I'm there 24 hours a day, and I couldn't give them the attention that they needed at home. They need to be watered twice a day sometimes in the summertime.
Does the smoke affect them?
It hasn't so far, not in a bad way. So.
Like I've heard that, like when there's forest fires, certain kinds of trees will like start, letting loose a lot of seed and stuff. Are you going to have like a bunch of bonsai growing everywhere because of smoke? Yeah,
that'd be really cool. Some customer said, "Are you trying to supply your own firewood? You're just starting real small."
Really small, yeah.
That's cute
for the elves in the neighborhood.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, and one last thing, just because I don't know what it is, and maybe other people don't either. What is Death Squad?
Death Squad is a podcast family that Joe Rogan started, and he's up to 400 podcasts now. It was a big influence on what started me on my spiritual path, and some things happened with my family and stuff like that. But listening to those programs and knowing that there was another 40-something guy out there that, hey, said that, you can eat well, you can take care of your body, you can smoke a little marijuana and you're still going to be okay.
Nice. I'm going to have to listen to that. It sounds...
Yeah, he's really pushing it. Death Squad, the entire family itself, is a bunch of different podcasts. Joey Diaz, he's part of it.
So kind of like It's New Orleans, the INO network, just not as cool as us. Yeah.
Sure, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking.
They're trying to compensate with the cool name, but yeah.
Right. The Death Squad name came from Opie and Anthony. Joe Rogan does a lot of UFC stuff. So he came in one time and he was like, "Oh, look at Joe Rogan with his Death Squad." And it just kind of stuck as a podcast family name. So it's nothing malicious.
Now, you smoke a lot of pot? How much pot do you smoke?
Oh, I the only smoking I'm doing is on the pits. So that's where I leave all my smoking.
Okay. Because you said you got inspired by the.
Yeah, I love the freedom, and I think everybody has the freedom to do whatever the hell they want to do.
All right.
Hear, hear. Speaking of smoking, let's talk about what you do at...
Wait a second, I just got an idea just now. Don't mean to interrupt. Marijuana, could you smoke meat with marijuana?
And you could get hungrier as you eat it.
That's what I'm saying, right? Sort of like putting the peanuts out in the bar, right, or whatever. This could be it could be. I think we've just come up with something.
You pay for it. Come see me sometime after midnight, and we'll work something out.
Yeah.
We'll promote that on the show and have a...
that was worth interrupting you, wasn't it?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. Sorry about that.
In 2 years, it might be a thing down here. You never know the way it's moving in the country. So.
Right now in Colorado, somebody just put a sign out in front of their place as this hits the air, right?
That's awesome.
Okay, I guess I'm obsessing a little bit about Twitter, but I just want to ask you a serious question about it. Now, did you get into Twitter before you were doing pop-ups or as you were doing?
I started the Twitter account with our first restaurant endeavor, Smoking Buddha Barbecue. And through that, I kept the Twitter name after Smoking Buddha dissolved, and I turned it into NOLA Smokehouse. I think we might have had 500 followers at that time. Now we're up to 2,500.
Wow.
And it's a lot of local people. It's a lot of foodies. It's a lot of fans that support us every week that keep us sustainable.
Some of them are here. We got a large crowd here.
And how do you feel that has affected your business? I mean, is it more of something that's fun for you, and but does it actually inform people about what you're doing, and do you recommend that to other entrepreneurs?
It is a direct contact that I can have with my guest through a Twitter feed, through specials, through stuff like that. If it wasn't for Twitter and social media, we wouldn't be here now. It totally helped us with pop-ups to be sustainable. It helped us create enough buzz to where people came out and tried us behind a coffee shop to eat barbecue on a Sunday night.
I remember you were behind PJ's. That's where we used to go to.
That's where we got Sarah did the article, and we got the best barbecue in New Orleans overall.
Right.
That's when some investors came out, and we were able to get brick and mortar from that article.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How exciting!
Did not know that.
Yep.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, because I mean, the spot you're in is exactly the what people think of as be the most visible spot.
Sure.
I mean, you're on Jackson's Great Street, but it's not the well-traveled part of it off the magazine, but people, so much buzz being created, and I guess a lot of that's coming through social media, huh?
Through social media, and we're just watching the food. It's
great product.
We have 4 hands making it, and that's the literal truth. That's why we sell out a lot. We're only as big as we can be right now. And the future might hold something different, but I'm going to make sure that everything I put on that plate's perfect and the people are happy when they leave.
Well, Rob, I would love to. We want to hear more about your
Sure.
history of how you got to NOLA Smokehouse and
There you
more
go.
about that. But it's we need to get to the part of the show where we have you invite your plus one, your mystery guest.
That's
and
right.
we do not know who Rob's plus one is going to be. It could be his Twitter, biggest Twitter fan, or co-worker or family member. So will you
Who
please
is
tell
she?
us who your guest is tonight?
It's my only coworker, and it's my wife Emily Bechtold. So.
Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Welcome,
Thanks
Emily.
for coming, Emily.
Thanks for having me.
So I would like to hear a little bit why you brought Emily. Besides her being your coworker and your wife, I'd like to know when did y'all meet?
I want to say it was sometime in 2002.
Yeah, I was sous chef at Foodies, and she was working in the pastry department, and we both had to get there at 5 a.m. And I was always grumpy and miserable, and she always came in with the biggest, prettiest smile. And I asked her to date, and 12 years later, here we are. So.
Now, how can you be
Awesome.
cheerful at 5 in the
Yeah,
morning? Was
what's
it just
wrong
because,
with you?
Because
I
of
don't
Rob?
know.
Was that it? Or you love your job so much?
I just a happy person, I guess.
All right.
Wow. So you were working in pastries, and
Yes.
what was that like working at Foodies? And
It was great. Foodies was an amazing place. I met, with Rob. We just met one morning. I think the second week I was there, and he made it fun. He was always nice and joked around, and that made work a little bit better, and it was great.
Yeah, Foodies was a kick. It was a lot of hard work, a lot of heavy lifting, and I'm sorry it's not still around. They put out some good food over there.
will you share a little bit about what Foodies was and what you did?
Sure. Yeah,
there?
it was. I was a sous chef there, and it was pretty much where you could come and grab some food to go. You could grab. It was the Commander's Palace people put it on, so you could come and get really great gumbo, really good turtle soups, anything in the deli case. They had extensive cheese, all kind of alcohols and liquors, of course, and some really great pastries. They also had a artisan bread department that you could get fresh bread there all day long, hot coming out of the oven.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a really cool.
It was ahead of its time.
Yeah, it
I
really
think.
was.
Really, I
Yes.
mean, I can't imagine why. To me, that would be the only reason why it was timing.
Yeah,
because
I think so.
it. Were you?
No, I wasn't around for Foodies. It must have closed down with Katrina. Is
It was
that what
right
happened?
next to Dorniak's.
No, I think
It
it was
closed
a
down
little
before then.
before
Yeah.
then.
Oh,
then.
okay.
And it stood. The property stood vacant for a long time. Within the past 2 years, they started developing it.
Do you think that the location was part of the problem with?
It's-
Maybe being in the
It's really hard to
suburbs?
speculate. I don't know what was going on, behind the scenes. On a managerial level, I was only so high. So I think maybe, that has some things to do with it. Location has some things to do with it. I know on our side, the food was always tight, and
It was
I tasted that
amazing.
line
It
twice a day, every day. So
Wow.
I made sure.
So
it
now,
was
how
nice.
long till you all were married after that?
Ooh.
We married in
We got married in 06, I
Yeah.
believe.
Okay, well,
06.
so y'all worked there,
Mhm.
and is that when you had your restaurant? Did y'all go in business together in Metairie?
No,
or
we
there was a
we after that we moved around to a couple of places in New Orleans, and then Katrina came
Weren't you at
along.
K-Paul's at one point?
Yeah, when
Sous
we
chef,
came
yeah.
back to New Orleans, we went to Vermont, we went to DC, we were in Florida. It took us 6 years to get back home, but
Oh,
as the
long
entire
time.
time I was watching the culinary scene, I was listening to Fitzmaurice, I was watching the culinary scene, and I just saw that there was this hole of barbecue, and I was like, if I
Yeah.
can get home and fill that hole, we might be successful. And I was like, and then it was a race against the clock. It's like, how can I get home? What can I do to get home? How can we start this up? Hooked up with K. Paul's, thankfully, and he supported us and guided me. Some of the chefs in there, like Chef Cannon, told me, he was like, don't get stuck here. Do your own thing, because you only got so much time. you know, and I was starting to read about Colonel Sanders, and he was 40 years old, and he started his chicken, and I was like, hey, man, maybe I can do it, you know. Worked with some really great chefs in the city, took the things that they taught me, tried to make some money for my own family. Now we're doing it, just her and I, 4 hands, and selling out every day without
There's a time
sign.
maybe like 4 years ago where I counted there was something like 6 barbecue places in the whole city. People think this is the South, but it's not in terms of barbecue at all. I mean, it's gotten much more diverse, right? But I mean, there was a time a few years ago where it was hard to find any barbecue in the city, never mind be choosy about it. And you guys stepped in at that point, and that's when you opened the Smokin' Buddhist.
Smokin' Buddha barbecue.
Yeah, right. And
Now, is your style of barbecue, has it evolved from Smokin' Buddha to today, or is it?
I think
more
in some ways, I had another partner in Smokin' Buddha that was more. He had a lot more culinary influences than you know I have now at NOLA Smokehouse. Everything in NOLA Smokehouse is mine from top to bottom. So having to deal with a partner who has some culinary ideas that doesn't come from a culinary background, it was kind of a change. But going into NOLA Smokehouse, we wanted to bring a regionality to barbecue that wasn't in the city. And I didn't see Voodoo taking up that moniker or the joint, not to call anybody out, but New Orleans is great in all culinary aspects. We should dominate at barbecue also. There's no reason we shouldn't.
And will you all share some of the things you create for people who haven't been there yet? Like, tell us about what a day looks like and what y'all are putting out there and the flavors. And
Well, our day actually starts pretty early. You know, we start smoking about 7 o'clock in the morning. You know, we put the meat on, and then we start our sides. We vary. We do potato salad, your basic country potato salad. We do a Steen's cane coleslaw, which is really good.
yeah, it's really good.
It's not too mayonnaisey, you know, it's not really sweet. It's kind of in the middle. We do our sweet corn spoon bread, which is probably our
Your fans just let out a sigh back there. Yeah, Marty and Lisa, your 2 biggest barbecue fans. Yeah,
it's actually everybody's favorite side. I mean, I make so much of it, and I sell it out.
Now, what distinguishes spoon bread from regular cornbread? What makes it spoon bread?
It's kind of like a custard, between a custard and spoon bread, kind of mixed together. And it was Rob's grandmother's recipe.
And it was a casserole dish, and that's how they would do things back then. They would just.
Well, you grew up in Georgia, right?
Grew up in
so
Georgia.
This is a Georgia kind of thing too.
Right.
Okay.
She would take it and then mix it with her buttermilk and eat it as a dessert. You know, that's some country right there.
Yeah.
I
like the was it the gardenia that you do too? That's
the
really kind of cool.
jardiniere.
Yeah.
We did that.
Good.
I do homemade pickles. We do the bacon brownies sometimes. We're going to be having a barbecue baklava this week.
Okay, now slow down. What's barbecue baklava? You got to be the only one in the world that's ever made barbecue baklava.
Something that we tried.
Yeah, you know, just the normal. I do the phyllo dough with like a honey butter, and then I do smoked apple butter, and then pulled pork with some of our sweet sauce in it and some toasted pecans. And I just layer it.
Lisa's starting to cry back there. You should have brought some.
Emily, is that a homage to having pastry background, or is it a family? I mean, do you have any ethnic
Greeks?
influence?
No.
Turks?
It's not
Aren't they
family
We're just
influence.
chefs that want to bring it. And sometimes, you know, it gets kind of boring just smoking a brisket or, you know, roasting a pork butt, you know, perfectly, you know. Sometimes we need to do something to have a little fun, and that's where the barbecue baklava came from, just having fun.
Having fun and being creative and
yes.
Yep, nice.
Right. Well, after you try the pot smoking meat next time, that's my last day. We'll give you some more ideas of things you can smoke and barbecue. Right. Wow.
Will y'all tell everyone? I mean, we're going to have information on our website, but will you tell everyone your hours and where you're located? And
right now we're 7 days a week open for catering. You can call us and let us know. We just need 72 hours advance notice, and I can smoke anything for any amount of party. We're open to the public 3 days a week right now, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday from 11 o'clock until we sell out. I try to stay open at least until 5. Sometimes we sell out as early as 2. July 4th, it was 1 o'clock with all the catering and everything else. We're very limited just because we have limited pit space. NOLASmokehouse.com is a good way to get in touch with us. That has all our Twitter feed, Facebook account, and email, all that good stuff.
And what's the address?
739 Jackson Avenue, the corner of Annunciation and Jackson.
So you're between
Cool.
Chapatulas and Magazine on
That's
Jackson.
right.
Yeah.
Big
red
red building.
The red brick building.
Yeah, that's
No
it.
sign.
Used to be
No
used to be
sign.
green and yellow before you, right?
But did
Green
y'all
and
know?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I used to have the
Finger-licking
golf
wings.
cart. I used to have the
y'all-
golf cart out front.
Did y'all know that there is a bonsai
Yes.
store on
Mhm.
Jackson? Okay.
Yeah,
So
we,
With
we,
Guy
we get our
Guidry.
soil from Guy. So
Okay, cool.
Guy Guidry, a little shout out. So
yeah,
Y'all
it's
go see
a
Guy.
cool little spot.
He's such
yeah,
a nice guy.
if you ask real nice, he'll let you go around back and see some of his banyan trees that are one of them's I think 100 plus years old. So
Beautiful.
yeah, so
Yeah,
just
that-
show some interest.
Now that's an interesting kind of diverse neighborhood right there too. That part of the neighborhood there, right? It's kind of you right near the what used to be St. Thomas right there and all that. And then
10th
also
ward I found out. once I
right,
got
yeah, and then
Tenth
also Irish Channel,
Irish Channel,
stuff, which
Lower
is,
Garden.
Yeah, so you got a
Called
lot of different cultures
stuff,
kind
yeah.
of coming together in that spot. What's that like?
It's really neat. We get some locals in there. We get the foodies in there. We get the hipsters. We get the punks from downtown. It's
You get the neighbors, the
E-
old neighbors.
everybody loves a barbecue. Everybody loves meat, and a lot of people just follow their nose and they smell the smoke. And because once I start on Wednesday, I don't stop. You know that it's just always
Follow their
smoking,
nose.
always smoking.
You have anybody that literally said that? Like I was riding my bike, I had no idea you existed.
Right.
You know, I was 4 blocks away and I smelled
it.
something really good, and I just I kept following it till I found this place.
It's that
too.
North Shore hickory and cherry. That's what gets them in.
Really?
There. Yeah.
Oh man,
It's wood from the North Shore.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Old groceries. Yeah.
nice,
Wonderful.
They're even local down to my wood. How about that?
nice.
Excellent.
Now you say you smoke anything. Like, what's the weirdest thing you've smoked? Like, you ever done like roadkill or like I don't know, like
I've done beef heart.
beef heart? There we go.
we did,
That's on the weird
And
side.
we did beef heart tacos at the Avenue Pub.
Yep. Yes,
Nice.
we did.
Yeah.
We did snails too.
We've done
Did it?
smoke escargot.
Now you were at Avenue Pub as a pop up there, or
As a
were you
pop-up,
okay?
yeah.
So you weren't like the regular kitchen in there,
Right after Janita's left.
right? Craig's and all that. Yeah,
Exactly.
right.
Sundays
we-
and Mondays.
Yeah, we jumped in there for a little bit and just trying to feed the people uptown. That's why I wanted to get uptown, and I got as close as I could with our budget, and we've been able to hang on so far. So we're going into our 4th month, and just
That's amazing. You've
kicking
only
it.
been 4 months.
only been 4 months. Yeah,
That's nuts. Okay.
and it's twice as long
So
as
actually,
Buddha
you won-
lasted.
wait a
so
second.
I'm
So you,
really
won, you won Best Barbecue then from New Orleans
From a
Magazine
pop-up.
from a pop up. It wasn't even. I didn't even realize that. That wasn't even your brick and mortar yet. That's
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a little.
Well, that just shows that
Amazing.
what y'all are putting out is great, and it's not about just the walls and
Right.
where you're doing it, and
Right.
people will find you if you move on to the next.
yeah. It's really cool.
Awesome.
And I knew New Orleans, if we could get home, the people would support us. I knew it.
Great.
Yes, you were right.
Well, y'all, we have this part of the show called Off the Menu where we ask you a tasty question or a question that you would not get at a job interview. It's a little... so I'd like to ask you, Rob, what would you do if the CIA asked you to poison a foreign dignitary if it would stop a war? I'm challenging your Buddhist heart here.
Wasn't this like wasn't this an episode on 24 last week? I think. Yeah.
And if it's too painful,
This isn't really
I can give you-
abstract.
we
Margot
can
has
go
a
to
real
Everett.
reason for asking you this. Yeah.
Yes, the CIA has been secretly thinking about.
She's trying to transition to less assassinations, but they keep pulling her back in.
I think I'd have to look at my own karma and how that would affect me personally. And even though it might stop a war, I would have to still be responsible for my own karma. So I would want to do no damage to any other sentient being.
Okay.
All right, so everybody else can die,
Thank you.
but you're,
Yeah.
you're not going to come back as a caterpillar in the
Come on,
next
that was a
life.
beautiful moment, and you have to ruin it. It was such an enlightened statement. No, you didn't ruin it. I'm sorry. I just like to blame you.
Depends which side of the war you're on, I guess.
Yes, that's true.
No, that was good.
All
All right, I
right.
got one for you, Emily.
Okay.
She's nervous now.
Yeah. All right, do you believe in ghosts,
Yes.
and why?
There's a lot of unknowns out there, and I personally haven't seen any, but other people say they have, and, I'm kind of open to it.
Has anybody close to you shared an experience, or in anywhere that you have been that you?
Not that I can recall, but I definitely feel that they're out there. For sure.
All right.
Okay,
You don't
y'all.
think so, Rob?
Well,
I'm open to everything.
there's a chance you'll see one in this place. I'll tell you, 'cause this is a little ghostly over here. This is good setting. Okay.
Well, I have another question.
Yes.
Not this is we're done off the menu. You're okay with that. I have a legitimate question. Now you're wearing this really cool hat. It looks like it's got a little figurine on the top. I don't know quite a baseball cap. Can you tell me what that is and why you're wearing it?
I often wear a light on my hat, and it's so I can
There
cook
you go.
a barbecue in the middle of the night. It's just me there, and I take the meat on and off the pits when it's ready. And I get a lot of questions about it, but I tried taking it off, and I'm very forgetful, and I always forget where I put it, and I would lose it. So it's better if I just leave it on there. Sometimes I'll go to a fast food restaurant and say that I'm a secret customer, and I might want to get some hot fries. So it has some advantages in some different
Does
ways.
that one of those GoPros or something? Does that? That's what it sort of looks like, right?
Right,
One of those
right.
little- yeah.
So it can pass as a camera too. So.
Wow. All right. You can market that. That could help generate some more revenue for another smoker or something.
I'll-
You can
I'll add it to
market
my
those
list.
to some other restaurants.
So, how often do you have to sleep at work? I heard you say you sleep at work.
Every
Yes.
night, yeah. I
Every-
start on Wednesday night, and I go home Saturday after we finish service.
Whoa, wait, hold on a second.
So-
Time out. So you sleep every night from Wednesday to Saturday at your place?
Right, because somebody
you
has to
okay
man
with
the
that, Emily?
man the
I
pits.
mean,
so
yes, because, he has to make sure the food is tight, and
some people have a
there aren't
staff.
mistakes.
It's just the weird thing in kitchens, and they actually have people and employees, and we're just not there
We're-
yet.
Yeah, but
it's a real
that's also
shoestring
why the
budget, and that's
Wait, so you going
But the
home,
food
Emily, and
doesn't
he's
always
staying
taste
behind.
as good if you have a staff
I
staying
guess you
all
could be
night.
night watchman too, and make
Right,
sure
I-
nobody. I don't know what they break in to steal in a barbecue place. But
right. I'm definitely my own security there, so it's a
just
a
don't
good
tell them
thing.
you're a Buddhist and you don't want to hurt them.
Right, right.
I'm a pacifist, but you
I
better
would-
stay away.
I would kill them with loving kindness.
Yes. But what is the process that it takes? I mean, I'm not knowledgeable. So
Mm-hmm.
can you tell me, do you marinate the food for hours?
We
and
do a
then-
dry rub.
A dry rub.
And that's just a way we do it. And we put a dry rub on it. We throw it on the pits. We smoke it until it's done. We take it off. We hold it in a crest core until we sell it all. And then we start all over
And
again.
that takes all night to smoke it, and you do it
18
slow.
plus hours for the rounds of meat that
Okay,
we're doing.
wait a second. So then if you start to run out, then you can't say come back in 18 hours. You got to
No.
already be anticipating that you're about to run out, so now you're starting the next one
Right.
Right.
18 hours in advance.
And
Wow.
is that because the meat gets flavor and tenderness? It's
Exactly.
a certain amount.
Wait, so
of
what are you
time?
doing in there all night? Like, are you stoking the fire all night?
Watch. I have to check the pits every 30 minutes to an hour.
Wait
and
a second.
add
So
more
when do you
wood to it.
sleep?
I take barbecue naps.
Barbecue naps.
And I set timers on my iPhone. Siri, I love her and hate her.
Wait a second. So you got to be nodding off all day, right?
No, during service I'm okay. After service, Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
I gotta go take a nap and then I
What
come
is that
back.
going to do to you if you do that long term, though? I mean, I don't want you to quit. Trust me. I want you to just keep doing what you're doing. But you're sacrificing yourself for the rest of us. I mean, you're going to be messed up.
But
This
maybe
is
he's
like,
getting
I'm here,
enough
I'm doing it.
barbecue naps.
remember when Kramer did that?
Cumulative.
Kramer was doing like in Seinfeld. He was taking like those the cat naps or whatever, and then he fell asleep while he was making out with his girlfriend, and she was in the mafia or something, and so she thought he was dead, and so they wrapped him up in a rug and threw him in the Hudson.
Right.
We
That
don't
might
want,
happen.
Is there
yeah,
a
that could happen to
barbecue
you.
version of that on Jackson Avenue? Is
be.
there?
There might be.
Wait, so you're telling me you're taking half-hour naps all night long, and then waking up and doing rigorous things?
Setting up for service.
And then
doing
going back to sleep for a half
But
hour.
I got a great person watching my back, and she lets me sleep late sometimes when I need it, and she's helping me with all the sides. She does all the sauces.
Do other people do this?
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
And I think we're
don't think so.
we're crazy.
I think so,
we're
too.
crazy.
Makes for a long day.
Wow, that's commitment.
But the press we're getting, and everybody's happy, and so we must be doing something right, and we're going to keep on doing it, and I'm going to keep my eye on the food and make sure that every bite on that plate is
Now you guys have
tight.
kids, right? No.
Older kids,
Kids, yeah.
18 and 16.
Okay.
And so there's boyfriends involved and other things. So sometimes they help out with the barbecue. Sometimes they
That
have
could
their
be a
own
good
lives.
test. Wait, you have a daughter?
A daughter, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'd definitely bring the boyfriend over there and put him to work. This'll test his mettle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See what I do for a night.
Well, they're at good ages where they can be understanding, and that could keep a teenager off the streets too in New Orleans. I mean, I grew up here, and it's a great city, but it's nice. It's like a nice opportunity to have a family
Yeah.
business, and they can socialize but also participate and be understanding of the lifestyle.
If your family had barbecue business instead of antiques or whatever, maybe you wouldn't be assassinating people in the death squads for the CIA now, right?
Well, I had to work with my family. That's why I'm considering assassinating people. But it kept me out of a lot of trouble,
Right.
but not at night like barbecue can.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, right. He
So-
can't be going off doing anything crazy with your daughter if he's up all night
manning that
stoking
pit.
that pit. Yeah,
I'm going to start looking into
I'd
this.
be, yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Okay, so we have not interrogated Emily very much, which is okay. But I would just like to know a little bit about your background before y'all met, and were you making pastries for anybody else? And did you in New Orleans before?
No, I actually was born and raised in Middlebury, Vermont. I went to
Middlebury College there. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's my
Nice
town.
place.
And I started working, pastries and stuff with my grandmother. We'd go over there and we'd bake, and I'd bake with my mom, and I enjoyed it. It was fun. And my summer jobs, I worked at Middlebury College in the kitchen and at like a little farm stand. That was pretty fun. And I went to college, and then my best friend from college was actually from here. So when I graduated, I moved down here, and it was hard to find a job at first. I was an art history major, and so I didn't really pursue it. But when I finally landed the job at Foodies, I was working in the pastries, and I loved it. And every job after that, I went to, try to work in the pastry department or the bakery, whichever it was. So that's how I kind of ended up doing it. And then we just kind of worked at almost every restaurant together.
I would either get her the job or she would get me
Yep.
the job. And we worked really well together, which is something that some couples really can't do. Our cashier, our other staff person that we have part-time, she says that sometimes we work like we're one, and we don't even talk to each other, and we just kind of anticipate each other. Doing the pop-ups for 3 years out of a Prius, stuff like that. It gets you really tight on putting the food out. So when you come to NOLA Smokehouse, you might wait in line longer than it takes you to get your food.
Wait a second. You didn't have all your cooking equipment and everything in the Prius too, right? The two of
No,
you
no.
and the cooking equipment drove around in a
No,
Prius?
it was
There was a
portable
trailer
cha-
involved.
Yeah,
no,
chafing
no
dishes
trailer.
and-
portable chafing dishes and pop-up tables. And that
You would
fold up.
you would smoke at
We'd
some
smoke it at home in our catering facility wherever we could at that time,
transport
and
it.
then transport it.
Now, do you have any? If I know it's difficult, and it's very unique that y'all can work so well together. But do you have any advice or something that you would say that you consciously do that enables y'all to work so well together, or is it just fate and?
I think it's a little of both. I mean, I think it's mostly fate, but I think sometimes if I know that Rob is, something's not going right or he's aggravated for some reason, I know to just kind of, continue and do whatever I need to do, and I think that works for the same.
And vice versa. It's like we bend to each other. We know when the other one needs to back off or the other one needs to give a little push. Sometimes I'll be tired and Emma will be like, come on, we just got one more hour,
Just one more
That's
day.
cool. Yeah. It kind of
It's
gives me
tiring.
that little kick in the butt that I need to get me up and do that last round,
Well, that's incredible because it is not always the case. I mean, family businesses in general are becoming more rare, but it says a lot about y'all as people to be able to work together so well and be so understanding and put out a great product and be so passionate about it. So it's really impressive.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Sorry, that wasn't really a question, but I had to
But we
say
appreciate
it.
it. We've gotten a lot of compliments in the past 4 months, and it's very humbling, to be as small as we are, to be getting the accolades that we are.
Now, is there something that hasn't worked? Obviously, things are working really well. Is there something that hasn't worked that you tried?
I don't think
Not
so.
really.
The smoke gopher, whatever. I don't know. Is there
Uh,
something that just hasn't worked out?
Not really on a food level. We had some anticipations when we opened up. I thought it was going to be like Franklin's Grill and Franklin's Barbecue, and we were going to have a line down the street. And, after the first month and, there was no line, and we realized that, hey, we better tighten everything, make sure it's good, make sure that we have our cost in control and really buckle down because it's not that kind of city. There's not going to be a line out the door for the brisket right off the bat. But
Well,
now,
at least not in the summer.
right?
I mean,
Right.
4 months ago was when it was getting warm. I'm
Exactly.
Right.
I'm optimistic that you could have lines out the door.
Yeah,
but,
I think at
but
some
not
point.
many locals or people visiting, even if they are going to stand in line.
Sure.
I don't think it has anything to do with
It-
the
it-
possibility.
Now, is there
of
any
not
It
being
might
smoking
just
right
be in
now?
Austin.
No, I guess Austin's hot.
Yeah.
Austin's hot.
3 to 4 hours they stand in line.
That
for
has no
man's
impact
brisket.
on me, but I'm
No
weird.
idea.
I'll eat the same food no matter what the temperature. I mean, if I want good brisket, I'm gonna want it in July. Why am I gonna go? I gotta wait till it cools off.
Oh
There's
yeah,
way.
no,
Yeah.
Well,
the food. It's not like it's
just
like
the line
soup,
outside, right?
but the
Oh,
line.
yeah.
I'm talking about
Oh,
like
I don't
the
care
line.
about that either. I'll walk to his place to 4 miles to. Right. I don't okay, so you guys work with Good Egg while she's thinking of that.
Oh.
Yeah, now we've had them on the show. We love them as well. Tell us a little bit about how that partnership works. I know they don't have that many different sources they use. They kind of limit themselves. So how did you get hooked up with them?
It was through Nate Winter, and
Is that Nate the Pie Guy?
Nate the Pie Guy.
Oh.
He's who we were
When you
popping
said
up.
Wiener, I thought your side of the
Right,
family. Okay,
No,
no,
and
Winner.
it's-
Yeah, no, we've had him on the
We're
show too. We
whiners.
love him.
It's
Yeah.
spelled like Wiener,
Okay.
but it's Weiner. Go ahead. Sorry.
And so we were doing pop-ups with him, and we were doing the
Right,
one at
yeah, that's right.
PJ's.
He sells a lot of his pies to
Right,
Good Eggs.
so
too,
it
yeah,
was
right.
it was through Good Eggs,
Yeah.
and he was doing something. I was looking for any other revenue streams that I could have on top of the pop-up, and selling barbecue to the door and cryovacuuming it and all that was kind of weird. So I started doing soups. I was a chef, and soups are something that I really enjoy doing, and it's something that I did a bunch of different varieties, and we sold quarts of homemade soup. So-
Okay, that makes sense. So we're not getting barbecue. We're not getting your barbecue
Right.
through Good Eggs. We're getting your soups through
Right,
Good
I
Eggs.
was doing
Okay.
Brunswick stew, brisket
Oh.
chilies,
Split
vegetable,
pea.
split pea and bacon.
So y'all don't have
lentil.
time to do that anymore? You don't-
Not really, not with everything, the 144 hours at NOLA Smokehouse. That's pretty got me wrapped
You
up.
mean you don't have any free time after 144
I would love
hours
to
of...
start up my podcast again. I used to do NOLA Food Podcast, and we had about 27 of them before I stopped. We went to Chapapila. We talked to some chefs around town, and we were the only other food podcast, I think, besides y'all that was out at the time. So. Some of them are still out on YouTube.
Have you thought about like buying a house next to it so you can like sleep in your own bed and pop up?
I have thought about that. My daughter goes to Grace King High School, and she's a junior. So until she graduates, I'm not going to move her out of her high school or do anything weird like that. I'll just keep sleeping there.
I think he enjoys sleeping there, though. Sometimes.
What do you sleep on?
I have a makeshift bed in my office.
What's makeshift? Define makeshift.
Oh, it's a twin size bed, and I put a feather bed on there, and it's really comfortable.
Yeah, it's very comfortable.
It's just small, but
Emily makes sure
comfy.
I am taken care of for sure.
Nice.
Wow.
Clean clothes, clean sheets.
We're getting close to end of our show, but I just wanted to. I want to hear a little bit more. I know we're going to have to wrap it up soon, but can you just tell us a little bit more about about pop-up, like that experience, and the difference between that and what you do today? And
the difference that I've found is overhead. The overhead that we have with brick and mortar is extraordinary. The overhead we had as a pop-up was very minimal, and that's the big difference. And that's what pop-up started, I believe, in California. Chefs would do it at other chefs' restaurants to have some fun. It never really, I think, was supposed to be anything more than that. What chefs started doing is using it as a way to showcase what they could do without being in a restaurant and having that overhead. We did it the other way around. We went minimal and started doing barbecue and slow smoked and giving the people something that they might not have 18 hours to do in their backyard, and they still want a good plate of barbecue. So we tried to fill that hole with it. Pop-ups are great. If it wasn't for pop-ups, we wouldn't be where we are. I think it gives chefs a great opportunity to express themselves.
all right, cool. Well, yeah, unfortunately, we are out of time, and I wanted to thank y'all so much for joining us
We
because
really appreciate it.
obviously your time is your free time is very limited with
Right.
what you all do and having a family. And
We love talking
So-
about the subject. We love talking about food in New Orleans. We love the culture. We love our fans. That's where it's at.
all right.
Well,
Thank
you.
y'all so much for joining
We
us.
love you all for loving all that. Our special guest tonight at Midnight Menu Plus One was Rob and Emily Bechtold of NOLA Smokehouse, cooking honest, farm fresh, smoking good food prepared with Zen sensibilities for the good people of the 504. NOLA Smokehouse. You can find out more about NOLA Smokehouse by following the links on our website. It's neworleans.com. We'll have all those. We'll have links to the Twitter and the rest of the stuff that was talked about on the show today. Thank you.
Thanks tonight to Petite Pet Care for loving care when you're not there. PetitePetCare.com.
And thanks also to Monkey Hill Bar on Magazine Street. At Monkey Hill, you can enjoy a 5-hour happy hour every weeknight from 3 to 8 p.m. And every Tuesday is Taco Tuesday. Coronas, margaritas, and sangria specials plus $2 tacos.
Well, that's it for tonight's show. See you next time on Midnight Menu Plus One. Till then, I'm Margot Moss.
And I'm Ray Canada. Good night. Midnight Menu Plus One is produced by Grant Morris, Margot Moss, and me, Ray Canada. Our technical producer is Chris Keogh, and our director of everything else is Mary Ross.
You can find photos from tonight's show on our website, itsneworleans.com. On itsneworleans.com, you can also check out our blog. You can listen to lots more episodes of Midnight Menu Plus One and other shows, including Out to Lunch, Happy Hour, True to the Game, and Mindset.
And you can hook up with me and Margot anytime by following Midnight Menu Plus One on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
And please be sure to subscribe for our mailing list. And the fabulous audio quality of this show is brought to us by the equally fabulous Chris Kehoe and PreSonus Audio. More information about PreSonus recording equipment is at presonus.com, presonus.com.
Midnight Menu Plus One is a production of INO Broadcasting for itsneworleans.com. For all of us here at Midnight Menu Plus One, thanks for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you back here next week on Midnight Menu Plus One. I'm Ray Canado.
And I'm Margot Moss. Good night.
Good night.
You know Labor Day signals the unofficial end of summer, but not the end of your outdoor projects. Lowe's helps you do it right and helps you save with Labor Day deals throughout the store. Shop now and get 2 bags of Stay Green potting mix for $12. And keep your lawn looking neat and trim with a Craftsman 2-cycle 17-inch gas string trimmer, now $20 off at just $119. Whatever's still on your to-do list this Labor Day, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid through 8/28. Soil offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii. U.S. only.